right, what's up everyone? Hope you're doing well. Now Miami's actually pretty tame, pretty calm, cool, and collected. I was looking at the weather forecast and it actually looks like the vast majority of the storm is going to completely miss South Florida. So that's pretty good news. I landed at Miami International Airport with no issues right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So all good on this front. We're gonna be in downtown Miami tonight. It's gonna be a quick live stream, but we're just gonna be, kind of walking around. It actually seems like a lot of people from the Tampa Bay area came over to Miami, potentially, because when I was walking around Little Buenos Aires, a lot of the restaurants were packed. Some of my go-to places I couldn't even get in, which makes sense, right? I mean, if the vast majority of the hurricane is gonna hit Tampa, Fort Myers, kind of that area, and miss us, probably a lot of people migrated over here. We'll get started. And we're just going to be checking out downtown Miami and Brickell. You're going to see the Metro Mover come by here in just a second. Yeah, New England Crypto says Tampa looks like it's going to get smoked. It's really, really bad. Now the latest, I was watching like Fox News and CNN weather report. They said they're expecting 10 to 12 foot storm surge. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? Emma's here. What's up? The internet may be a little shaky tonight, but we'll just have to figure it out. I think I need to reset my network settings. Just let me know if the internet is good. Hey, what's up, D? Emma's here. This is just saw a warning for Miami. DC 322 says Clearwater, Port Charlotte. Yeah. Vivian says hello, Tom and everyone. Bracing for the hurricane passing in Orlando. Indeed. I don't even really think we're supposed to get that much rain here in Miami, Florida, but a lot of my neighbors have the sandbags, so. Crispy, what's going on? Good to see you. Everything in Miami, did you make it out? Did you actually fly back to New York? Or kind of what are your plans? If you're gonna stay here or whatnot. Maybe we'll take one quick walk around the Bayside Marketplace. Now, you know what's a place that I always wanted to try, and this just opened? This spot right here. I think they're just closing up, but the Bloom, I think it's called. But the interior of the restaurant looks really, really nice. I think they just closed. I think there's like still 2 customers, but looks pretty good on the inside. Looks new, modern. Anyway, I really want to go over here so we could check out the Waldorf Astoria residences. This thing is finally going up. Hey Anita, what's going on? Lance is here. I know Alec S has got to respect when Mother Nature calls for sure. Someone says, actually looks like Sarasota will be hit directly. Yesterday they thought it would be Tampa, would be a direct hit a little bit south. Yes, Sarasota, Florida is really beautiful too. That's such a bummer. I think just south of Sarasota, Florida, there's one of the best beaches in the entire world. It's right there. I forget the name of the beach. I'm blanking on it. It's been a long day, but yeah, Sarasota is really, really nice. And there's been a lot of new developments going up in Sarasota, Florida too. Dante Rose says you're going live tomorrow. I don't know. I think it's just going to depend on how bad the storm is. I mean, I thought it was going to be raining when I landed here in Miami, but when I landed right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the weather was perfect today. It wasn't humid, it was just kind of cloudy, you know, partly sunny. It was nice. I mean, the weather's really nice out right now. Emma says, how long will I be here? Maybe 4 days, 5 days, depending on, again, it really all depends on the airports. I know that the airport's closing down, so there's more than likely going to be a lot of congestion. But you know what I noticed? I'm not sure if anyone was traveling today through any of the major airports. I don't know if it's because of the storm, but JFK Airport was completely dead. And I mean, there was literally nobody there. Literally nobody at JFK Airport today. I literally walked right through security. I got there like 2 hours early. I really didn't want to miss my flight. But there was no line for the security. And there was probably, not even exaggerating, maybe 15 people on my flight to Miami. Maybe 15. So hey, Brad's Brain, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Guys, this is what I'm really, really excited about. This development right here. Check this out. What you're looking at right now is the brand new Waldorf Astoria residences here in downtown Miami. This building is finally at ground level, or at least 2 stories above ground level now. And this is going to be the tallest building south of the World Trade Center, right here. Pretty cool. Hustler Inc., what's going on? Says people are actually leaving. Gulf Coast residents are driving to South Florida and flying from Fort Lauderdale, because Tampa and Orlando is very busy. Yeah, it seems as if Miami is actually busier than I expected. I thought a lot of people were going to be leaving Miami, but it looks like a lot of folks from the West Coast are actually coming here because we're not really supposed to get that much. At least that's what the weather reports are saying. Miami's not going to get too much. But check this out. I mean, this thing is going to be really, really insane. So this is the Waldorf Astoria Residences, Miami. This is what the rendering is going to look like. You're looking over south of 5th, South Point Park. Let me see the wide angle lens just for a second. I think it may be too dark. But it's going to be the tallest building south of the Trade Center. Hey, JC, what's going on? Man. So this is what the tower is going to look like in the skyline of Miami. So just to kind of give you some orientation here, this is the main downtown Miami skyline. This building right here is 1000 Museum. And as you move your way over, this is the main arena where the Miami Heat play, and this is what the Waldorf Astoria residence is going to look like. I mean, that's just going to really stick out amongst the Miami skyline. And then further here, you have the 200 Southeast Financial Center. Once again, this thing is going to be the tallest building south of the Trade Center. Pretty wild. But anyway, we had a few interesting things happen in the market. Obviously, this week is the official start of earnings season, which should be pretty exciting. Assuming the weather is permitting, I should say, weather permitting, we're going to be doing deep dives into JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo earnings. Looks like they have some sandbags near the hotels. But again, I don't know if we're going to get any flooding here. We'll see. And the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, again, talking about the bond market, 30-year fixed rate mortgage jumped to a high because that 10-year US Treasury is now well over 4%. Let's see what they got going on at Bayside Marketplace. This is the main sales gallery for the Waldorf Astoria residences. Brad's Brain says, great day today in the markets. Palantir up over 2 points. Nvidia also up huge indeed. And I think Kava just recently hit a new all-time record high again. So pretty good stuff. Good stuff. Someone says, what's up with the political trolls tonight? I usually have my settings set, but I'm mobile tonight. I don't have my computer, so I have to, I don't have any of the spam blockers on, unfortunately. But the funny thing is, it would usually be like this every night if we didn't have the spam blockers on. This is looking over towards the Intercontinental Hotel Miami and the 200 Southeast Financial Center. That's the current temporary headquarters of Citadel Securities. If we have time tonight, I'll take you to the construction site where Citadel's new tower is going to be built. Now, if you see this blue light, I'm not sure if it comes out on the stream, but there's this very, very faint blue light that goes all the way up to the sky here. Let me see if I could do something. That is the light that is on the very, very top of the Aston Martin residences, which you're going to see in a minute. That's going to look really, really cool. And this is towards more of downtown Miami. You see the Freedom Tower right here, which is my favorite building in Miami. This is where the vast majority of Cuban immigrants first came to America, is literally right there. And then you have the Panorama Tower that's all lit up in those colorful colors there. But let's take a walk around Bayfront Marketplace, or Bayside Marketplace, Bayfront Park. Sunshine NYC, what's up? Good to see you. There shouldn't be too many people here tonight. It is a Tuesday. I mean, anyone in the chat in the direct path of the hurricane, have you evacuated? I also thought that the stores are going to be totally wiped out. Everything seemed to be fine for me. I mean, I didn't have any problems at all. Here's another shot of 50 Biscayne and the 200 Southeast Financial Center. Ooh, Ren 1018 says my boss lives in Tampa and evacuated to Orlando. Well, I think Orlando is also going to get the storm, though. That's the crazy thing. I think Orlando, Florida is also going to get it. Pops is Tom. I'm in the eastern part of it. Got it. I mean, I always say this. I don't mean to jinx Miami, but usually we don't. Usually we get the hurricanes, but it seems like over the past 5 years, the majority of the hurricanes have been going to the West Coast, particularly Tampa, Fort Myers area. So, Optimus 17 says my cousin evacuated to Clearwater. Yeah, I don't know if that's a good place to evacuate. I mean, Clearwater, Florida is very close to where it's supposed to get slammed. I think people are supposed to be going north or out of the state, not to Clearwater, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? Hopefully everybody stays safe and gets out of there, because a 15-foot storm surge is just crazy. That's just absolutely crazy to me. Now this is relatively new. This is Pier 5. This is all brand new, modern, and you're overlooking the marina as well as the Ferris wheel here. And it doesn't look too busy at all tonight, but it's still quite beautiful. Jax's, Florida, you are one of my favorite states. Be careful and let things go past. Indeed. CFL Disney lovers, is Bubba Gump still there? It is. So the Bubba Gumps is over here on the other side of Biscayne, or the other side of this bay side. This is a really, really nice bar that they made here. The design and the aesthetics are nice. So you can get a drink and just kind of sit down and overlook the marina here. I mean, look at that. It's a really nice view. That's the Hard Rock. It's beautiful here. Really, really nice. I always think about a place like this during a hurricane, because God forbid there's ever, a 10 to 12 foot storm surge that hits downtown Miami. I mean, that means pretty much all of this where we're standing would be underwater, no? Hey, Keith says, I can't begin to describe how in love I am with Miami after having gone for the first time in August. That's exactly how I felt the first time I came. Pretty soon you're going to want to buy a place here. So this is like its own stage. I'll try to zoom out. This is like a big stage where they have live music and events. It's pretty cool. Hey, Patient Lobster, hopefully you're doing well and you're safe over there in Israel. I got your email, by the way, about the visa, and I am going to reply probably tomorrow or the next day. But I think overarchingly it's easier if you get somebody to sponsor you, even if you're just working, in a related career to what you want to start your company with. It's much, much easier to first find a company to sponsor your visa and then just do your own thing when you're here. But I'll explain in more detail when I send you an email back. But, the waters seem pretty calm. I mean, look at the water here, pretty calm. Sweet Lord says, I've been living here for 20 plus years and I can't wait to move to a colder place. I am melting here. We'll do it. I mean, move to New York City. You can get some good deals on apartments in Manhattan. I mean, prices have been coming down pretty drastically. And I think you'd probably be bottom ticking the market in Manhattan. So I would say do it. Let's walk to the back, and then I want to check out Brickell Key and Brickell and see what's going on over there. But, you know, it looks like some of these restaurants closed down for the storm. Usually this one's open. Maybe they're just closing now, but Hamid Y says, isn't there a ton of property taxes in Manhattan? That's actually a little bit of a misconception. Oftentimes, the property taxes are much cheaper in Manhattan than they are in the outer boroughs, and especially in the surrounding counties, like Nassau and Suffolk County. If you're a Long Islander and you live in Nassau or Suffolk County, your property taxes are probably going to be double what they will be in Manhattan. A lot of people don't know that, but it's true. This bar seems to be pretty busy. Haitian Lobster says New Jersey is easier on property taxes, ? No, New Jersey is actually more expensive when it comes to property taxes, depending on which county and which municipality you're in, obviously. But generally speaking, New Jersey even has Nassau and Suffolk County beat in regards to property taxes. But, you know, it's like a give and take, and I always say you get what you pay for. And if we're being honest, the public schools in New Jersey are supposedly some of the best in the entire country. So at least the property taxes are going towards something of value. I mean, the problem is if you pay all these high property taxes and the services are terrible, that's the problem, right? What do you guys think about this view? So we're now right outside of the Hard Rock Cafe, and you have this beautiful view of downtown Miami. You see 1000 Museum, and this colorful building right here is the Panorama Tower, or the Paramount Tower, excuse me. Hey, Scott Solomon, what's going on? Reggie 44. Someone says, are people allowed to stay in Sarasota, Florida? I don't think so. In my view, I don't think so. I was watching a press conference with the governor, Ron DeSantis, and I believe they issued a mandatory evacuation for Tampa, Florida, as well as Sarasota, Florida, so we'll see. This is the Ferris wheel here. Let's go out to the parking lot and walk around. We're now overlooking where a lot of the cruises come in. So you'll see like Royal Caribbean, and you'll notice how there's no cruise ships in the ports because the ones that are out are staying out an extra couple days to avoid the storm, which is pretty crazy. Hey, CFL, Tom, I sent you a DM on IG. I will go ahead and check that. Now, someone had alerted me to the fact that they're not allowed to send me a DM on X or Twitter, which is strange, so I'm trying to change that because, in my opinion, my IG or Instagram is pretty much, I can't even use it because it's just all spam bots, I've noticed. Like anytime I check my messages on Instagram, it's all like nonsense spam. So I can't even really see anyone that I know, which is strange. So we're now right behind Bayside Marketplace. You see the Ferris wheel, you have the Margaritaville here. Better views of downtown Miami. You see 50 Biscayne, Citigroup Tower, Aston Martin residences. And you can see a little bit of Brickell Key as well. Hey Guillermo, what's going on? This is Hey from Buenos Aires, hoping you're staying safe. Good to see you. It's funny, I was just in Little Buenos Aires. My favorite spot in all of Miami is North Beach, which is 72nd Street all the way up to about 90th Street. And the community is all restaurants, bakeries, shops from Argentina. And that's actually where I watched Argentina win the World Cup. So if you're visiting Miami and you're from Argentina, maybe check that place out. North Beach, Miami, Little Buenos Aires. It's an awesome, awesome spot. But doesn't the water look pretty tame here? Everything looks quite calm, at least where we are. Okay, this is really cool. So if you look right here, there's this big blue beam shooting up into the sky. That is the top of the Aston Martin residences. Pretty cool stuff. So we're gonna be walking through the park. You'll see the new construction site to the fountain. We're finally, after all these years, gonna get a working fountain inside of the park. And then we'll transition from downtown Miami to Brickell, and if we have enough time, maybe we'll go to Brickell Key. Yeah, Robert Parker says, Tom, I see you're in Miami. Looks like the calm before the storm. This is really beautiful here. I think we're getting a lot of buffering. Let me see. I don't think we're going to be able to do anything about it, but I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people can put up with living here in Miami, because it's so beautiful. But, you know, you do have to deal with hurricanes. I think that's just the state of Florida in general, particularly anywhere on the coast. Hey, what's up, Zozo Bob? Hey, Mark says, hey, Tom, just wanted to say hi. Looks beautiful. It's an amazing, amazing night. And this is officially the construction site where they're going to build that new fountain. It was an old fountain here that was kind of broken down and dilapidated. Joe says Waldorf Astoria opening delayed till 2028. Well, we just walked past the construction site and it's above ground, which is really, really good news. And it looks pretty cool. So Waldorf Astoria is going to be the tallest building south of the World Trade Center. And we walked past it earlier on the live stream, and it's already above ground, which is great. I think it looks like they've built 3 stories already. Much better progress than the St. Regis. If anyone's familiar with the St. Regis project in Sunny Isles Beach, here's the fountain that they're repairing or building. The St. Regis hasn't even broken ground yet. So it looks like there's much more progress here. Now this big pink and purple building in the distance, that's Miami Tower. And if you see this big parking garage, that's going to be set for demolition very, very soon. And it's going to make way for One Bayfront Plaza, I believe it's going to be called. We got to get some nice drone shots of Miami. The skyline, I mean, looks amazing from afar. It looks really, really good from afar. Oh, that's right. Someone says GTA 6 location for Miami. That's true. Or Vice City, I guess they're calling it. Someone says, my friend lives in Orlando, but I can't connect with him. I'm worried. What is it like over there? Well, Orlando's not supposed to get hit as hard as Tampa, but Orlando is in the direct path. All right, once we get closer to the city, we should start getting into a little bit better internet. But I would say, generally speaking, many people are actually coming to Miami to escape the storm. Which is crazy to think about, because you always think about hurricanes, you think about Miami. But if you look at the weather models, the hurricane looks like it's almost going to completely miss Miami, Florida, and the west coast of Florida, like Tampa, Sarasota, Florida. That is the area where it's really going to get hit. Orlando may get lucky because as the storm makes landfall, it's probably going to get knocked down in intensity. But still, I mean, if I lived in Orlando or if I lived in Tampa, I probably would not stay to ride out the storm, to be honest. That's just my take. NBA Elias, Tom, storm is now moving south, headed towards Naples and Sarasota. Wow. Wow, Bob's, I already booked a trip to Art Basel in Miami. That's why I'm here. We'll enjoy it. I think you're really gonna like Miami. It's a great place. How's the internet doing now? Is the internet signal a little bit better, or is it still pretty bad? This is a pretty cool shot of Miami Tower. All right, a little better. I think as we head towards the Aston Martin residences away from the park, it'll be better. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the Metro Mover station. Sweet Lords, I left Fort Lauderdale 15 years ago. And since then, I hardly catch any hurricane here in Miami. Well, wasn't there that like 1 in 500 year or 1 in 500 year flood event or something like that? Michael G. I already miss Manhattan, Tom. Indeed. This is Bayfront Park Station. And this is the building that's going to get torn down. And in its place is going to be one Bayfront Plaza that connects to the Metro Mover station. Good to see you. All right, everyone. We are now outside of the 200 Southeast Financial Center. This is the temporary headquarters of Citadel Securities. Ken Griffin's hedge fund and market-making business. And it looks like they have a little bit of provision here to block some of the water if we have flooding. I don't think the water will come up this high, though. Hey, Gopher Hockey, what's going on? Thanks for joining. There's no way the water comes up that high. Maybe they're just doing it as precautionary measures, but there's no way I think the water comes up that high. One more look at the Metro Mover station. And then we're going to see Brickell Key from across the water. Wow, Lee says it has before. So Lee, I mean, you've been following this storm. I've been following it a little bit. If the water were to get up that high in downtown Miami, that's probably like, what, a 5-foot storm surge? I don't think Miami is supposed to get any storm surge, from what I remember. Oh wow, Steve CR says for Miami, potentially an 8-foot storm surge. Okay, that I didn't know. I never heard that. I mean, 8-foot storm surge, everything would be underwater here. Brad's brain says, I'm sure it's to protect against wind. They probably have a history of those doors being blown open. That's a good point. Sweet Lord says last year Brickell got pretty insanely underwater. Well, here's the thing. Brickell is underwater if it just rains a lot. If we have like 1 or 2 days of back-to-back rain, Brickell is always underwater for whatever reason. Look at this Cybertruck. This is a nice Cybertruck. Cybertruck. This thing looks insane. Doesn't that look awesome? Look at this thing. Right outside of Met 1. That's a sick wrap on the car. So now everybody, we're standing on the southernmost tip of downtown Miami. The buildings that we're looking at across the water is the island of Brickell Key. So this is its own private island. There's only one way to get on and off the island, and that's from that connector bridge here. And Brickell Key is beautiful. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. There's an entire walking path that goes around the entire island, and you can see all of downtown Miami. The views are insane. But here's what I'm most excited about. This building right in front of us is the Aston Martin Residences that was just completed in downtown Miami. Now, everything in Miami, or Zozo Bob, if you're in the audience, I think this is almost 100% sold out already. Is that right? For Aston Martin residences. We'll go ahead and take a look at the brand new Miami Riverwalk, but this place is awesome. This place is amazing. You have the Mastro's Steakhouse right in front of Aston Martin. And check out how peaceful it is here. I mean, the water, it's like glass calm. Super, super calm, the water. I mean, the quality of life here is amazing. So now, the view that you have on your screen is Brickell. So Brickell is mainly the most famous part of Miami right now. Maybe not most famous, I should say most popular. So when people think about moving to Miami, all the nightlife, all the jobs, like kind of where the younger crowd hang out, it's in Brickell, Miami. But if I had to choose, I would take a unit right here at the Aston Martin residences. Look at that, and then have that big light coming off the top. Ah, everything in Miami says only the penthouse is left. Who knows, maybe I'll sell the penthouse. Maybe you'll sell the penthouse. You never know. If anyone wants to buy the penthouse right here at the Aston Martin residences, send me an email. I think it'd be a pretty interesting project to work on. Sweet Lord says Brickell is not the new Manhattan for young people. I think it's similar. I think it's comparable. I mean, I have a bunch of friends there. That's where I was going to buy my place, but I chose not to. I bought a little bit further north, but so this is the brand new Miami River Greenway right here. Let's try to check out the lobby. Really nice fountain. Lobby's quite nice too. Hey, Carrie. Too. I love going to Fisher for the last 30 years. Hey, Carrie, I have a friend who's looking to sell his entire portfolio on Fisher Island. And it's a pretty impressive portfolio. If you know anyone who's interested or looking to acquire assets on Fisher, send me an email, because I have a buddy that wants to liquidate his entire portfolio on Fisher, and it would be off-market transaction. So let me know. Fisher Island's quite nice. I think there's a new development going up on Fisher Island called 6 Fisher. But Nicole actually makes a good point about evacuating and with your pets. Most people don't think about that during the evacuation process, but There are, I would say, like charitable organizations that will like adopt a pet in the interim for people who are fleeing. So I would try to look into that, just so you don't have to leave the pets behind. That is a very, very good point. I feel as if, and again, you know, I'll say this again, many people are actually starting to come from the west coast of Florida here to Miami. I mean, Miami was very, very busy today. The restaurants were packed. This is an awesome view here. Peter's Brickell Key is a man-made island, and now much of it is owned by Swire Group. That is true. Last time I was in Miami, to Peter's point, I got a tour of the brand new Aston Martin, not Aston Martin. If you go on this channel, Walks Wall Street, if you subscribe to it and look at some of our videos, look for the Mandarin Oriental Tower tour. You can actually see the Mandarin Oriental from right here. That is the hotel. They're going to be building, Swire Properties is going to be building a massive hotel and residences. And once that's complete, they're actually going to tear down this hotel right here, the older hotel, which I believe was completed in 2008. So there's a lot of interesting things happening. Let's see, sometimes you can see some fish jumping out of the water here. Oftentimes you can see some manatees as well. This is the Epic Marina. There's a fish right here. Hustler Inc. says Fisher Island will be underwater in 50 years. Why not 49? Why not 49 years? Why not tomorrow? Maybe it'll be underwater tomorrow. Never know. Yeah, the fish like to hang out around the water on the boats. The larger fish are feeding on the bigger fish, or the larger fish are feeding on the smaller little minnows. So once again, this is the Epic Marina. Look at all the fish down there. I'm seeing a lot of comments in Korean about, what's it called? Orlando. For all the Korean viewers that have, you know, family or friends in Orlando or Tampa, there's an open chat on Kakao Talk, which is like the Korean equivalent of like WhatsApp, but mainly only Koreans use it. It's called Kakao Talk. There's an open chat where a lot of people are communicating and posting. So I would check there. Look at some of these boats. Yeah, Reggie 44 says Sweetgreen was up 9% today. I'm telling you, I think that by expanding their menu items from just salad, they're opening up their TAM, their total addressable market. Now, we started to initiate coverage on Cava, ticker symbol CAVA, about a year ago. And I think that stock just hit a new all-time record high today. Very similar growth trajectory to Chipotle. And if you think about why Chipotle was so successful, right, it was a few things. Number one, scalability. But number two, very, very simple menu item choices. Very, very simple. You know, not having such a convoluted, crowded menu. The former CEO of Chipotle is now the CEO of Starbucks. And one of the things that he said that he's going to implement a major change at Starbucks is by simplifying the menu, right? You walk into Starbucks, there's 50 million different drinks and 80 million different combinations. They're going to work on streamlining the menu and creating If you ever read one of Howard Schultz's books, that's the main thing he talks about as he describes his vision with Starbucks. His vision was never to build the best coffee company in the world that has the best tasting coffee. It was to create the third place, right? People go to work, people go home, but he wanted to be the third place where people can congregate, get together, go on first dates, share stories with friends, and not to really bring politics into it, but if you look at many of the unionization efforts of the Starbucks employees, one of their main concerns has been store safety. In many major cities, these Starbucks locations have been turned into homeless encampments. So instead of being a barista and making coffee, you're policing junkies in the bathroom, right? So I think if Starbucks can get back to a place where people actually want to go in there and sit down and relax, I think the company will bounce back. There's a very, very high correlation with the unionization efforts and in-store safety. Someone said it buffered a little bit. Really the only thing I said is if you read any of Howard Schultz's books, he never intended Starbucks to be the best tasting coffee. He wanted it to be a good product, but he wanted to create the third place, right? You go to work, you go home. He wanted to be that third place where you go. Looks like we're buffering. Yeah, I think there may be some stress and strain. On the network. So now we're looking at Miami Tower. Look at that. Beautiful shot. Elias is so no danger in Miami. No, it looks like we're probably gonna escape this unscathed. Hank P, what's going on? This is now the JW Marriott. That's true. Hustler Inc. says, hey Tom, I think the Starbucks on Astor Place in Manhattan closed down permanently due to safety reasons and homeless. You're 100% correct. Alan's, Howard Schultz was on the Acquired podcast in June and it was really good. I suggest you listen to it a few times. I listened to it and I've listened to it because of you. I think you sent it to me, so thank you very much for that. Now, you know what's another interesting statistic? Now that we're talking about, the QSR business, quick service restaurants, and the fast casual business, there's interesting conclusions that we can draw from the recent jobs numbers. Now, on Friday's live stream, if you missed it, we talked about the non-farm payrolls that came out, the jobs numbers. The U.S. added about 425,000 jobs. 242,000 jobs. That's my dyslexia again. I always mix them up. But over 250,000 jobs, little under 250,000 jobs we added. The majority of jobs, what was the strongest? It was in the service sector. And if you drill down and hammer down even more into consumer spending habits, we're now on top of Brickell Bridge. What you'll notice is that spending at quick service restaurants and fast casual restaurants continue to go up quarter over quarter and year over year. So if you're trying to position yourself for an investment, well, maybe get exposure to restaurant brands more in the fast casual business, quick service restaurant, not the sit down business, right? It's all about speed, efficiency, and scalability in that business. Look at how, Chipotle blew up. Look at how Kava is doing really well, right? Sweet Green is doing well now that they changed their menu. So, what do you guys think of this view? We're now standing on top of Brickell Bridge. We're overlooking the Miami Riverwalk. Stunning up here. But if you are all enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these live streams every single day starting at 8:45 between New York City and Miami, Florida. Oh wow, you guys are really gonna like this view. Look at this. Look at how cool that shot is of the Aston Martin residences. Larry Adams says Fort Myers can't take a 17-foot storm surge. You're correct, they cannot. If you are in Fort Myers, if you are in Sarasota, and if you are in Tampa, Florida, you should probably not be there right now. You should probably be evacuating north or come to Miami. Even though Miami is going to get some of the storm, we're not going to get any of the crazy storm surge. It's pretty much going to miss us. So do not try to ride out the storm. I would say listen to state and local authorities and just get out. I mean, just leave that area. I mean, it is, if you listen to all the experts, they're saying it is going to be unsurvivable. Zozo Bob says, I'm surprised the FAA allowed the blue beam on the top. I don't even know what the blue beam is for. I think it may be to alert air traffic. I'm actually not too sure. Oh, wow. Joel PM says, my brother is forced to work on site in Sarasota through the storm. He's in healthcare IT. Well, sending prayers that he's going to be all right. I'm not too sure why the internet is so bad tonight. Maybe it's just because of the storm, maybe crowdedness. I'm not too sure. Hey, Bill Rowlands. Welcome to Brickell, Miami. We are now officially not in downtown Miami anymore. We are in Brickell, outside the icon Brickell, as well as the W Hotel. Hey, Rachel says, yep, category 4 or 5 is serious during Andrew in '92. It took my family
almost 1 year to get electricity in my neighborhood. Holy crap.
1 year to get electricity. That's insane. I can't even imagine what that must be like. I think I would probably just abandon my house and move somewhere else if I don't have electricity for a year. I mean, what are you, just running a generator for 1 year? That's insane. This is looking south down Brickell. And this is looking where we just came from, over the bridge. If we continue to walk down Brickell Avenue, I think we're going to have just enough time tonight to see where Citadel is going to build their brand new office tower. NBA Elias, the storm is going south. Tampa dodged a bullet. Naples and Sarasota are now being evacuated. Oh my God. I think they should probably all evacuate. So is that right, NBA Elias? They're saying Tampa, Florida is now sorry, I got to get some water. Is going to be a non-issue, they're saying? They don't pay bills on time. I think that's fake news. Maybe it's not fake news. What do they pay you for? Data feeds? Right here on the corner of Southeast 7th Street and Brickell Avenue, this is going to be the brand new One Brickell City Center. Hey, 안녕하세요, my friend. This is, I saw Oasis Design Studio in Miami. Very nice. Thanks so much for your 2000. So Tampa Airport is officially closed. If we were to make this left, so if you look all the way down, you'll be able to see the Mandarin Oriental. Just to the south of the Mandarin Oriental is going to be the new construction site for Swire Properties Mandarin Oriental Tower. It's going to be residences and a brand new hotel. I just turned on airplane mode. Let's see. Let's see if this will fix it. I just turned on airplane mode. Sometimes when you turn on and off airplane mode, it gets better.
All right, let's check out Brickell City Center as well as Mary Brickell Village. You know, sometimes I have to reset the network settings too. Because if I'm coming from New York, L bands they're using. Sometimes you have to reset the network settings. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Someone says, why so many people from Brazil? Miami has a huge Brazilian population, especially on Fisher Island. By the way, there's lots and lots of Brazilians that are buying real estate on Fisher. This is the Metro Mover. And Brickell City Center. Anyone in the chat ever been to Brickell City Center or Mary Brickell Village in Miami? Chuck says, which walks do you enjoy more, New York City or Miami? That's actually a really good question. That's a really, really good question. I'll say this. In the winter when it's 20 degrees in New York City, I much prefer to be walking around in the tropics of Miami. But during the summer, there's nothing like summertime in Manhattan. That's what I'll say. Also, I like walking around the city during the holidays, but when it's really, really cold in New York, I like being in Miami, South Florida for sure. Someone says, will there be flooding here? I don't think there's going to be too much flooding in Miami. The brunt of the hurricane is going to hit on the west coast of Florida, not the east coast. That's why many people are coming here to escape the storm, because we're not actually going to get a lot of it. Hey, our Bodes, this evening Tom was driving through Miami Beach. Oh, listening, great walk, thanks so much. Yeah, we're just kind of having a pre-hurricane walk, so we're just checking everything out. Not super heavy on the financial talk tonight, but it's really nice to be back in Miami. I mean, the weather is perfect. I thought it was going to be raining all day today. This is my favorite view, these two buildings here. This is the SLS Lux Miami. And I think this Burger King that's been there forever has been sold. This is the Lucid Motors showroom over here. And this is the Brickell City Center. You can see the walking bridge here. What do you guys think? Lucid Motors or Tesla? What are your thoughts? Lucid or Tesla? I'm going Tesla all day, every day. And for those of you who don't know, on the 10th, October 10th, very important, is Tesla's Robotaxi Day. So very important, we pay attention to that. So the Tesla Robotaxi event, very much anticipated. Noodle says Tesla. So we're getting mostly Tesla. Al says Lucid. Robbie says ugly car. I actually kind of like the look of the Lucid, not gonna lie. This is that new restaurant, the Henry. So the guy we just walked past is wearing one of those aloe hats, A-L-O. And we talked about this as we were doing a little bit of impromptu research. Lululemon has really fallen off, and I think that company brand Aloe has stolen a ton of market share. Whenever I'm in New York City, it could be a Saturday morning, if you walk around Central Park, you walk around Tribeca, Soho especially, all of like the millennial, Gen Z, particularly female women, are no longer wearing the Lululemon, they're wearing that Aloe. So I don't know if that company will come public, but if they do, I think that should be something interesting to look into. Hey, Dr. Longus is here. Thanks for joining. Ken says the Lucid Sapphire is fire. So Ken, if you had to buy one, any Tesla model you'd like or any Lucid model you like, are you going with the Lucid? You think it's a superior product? What do you think? Here you have KPMG, McKinsey, WeWork at 2 Brickell City Center. I used to work out at this WeWork. And this is a pretty unique view looking back over downtown Miami at the Brickell Tower. Ken Brockton says, I would love a Tesla Model S, but won't buy from Elon. Lucid is a strong competitor. Hey, look, I mean, you know, even though I disagree with Ken Brockton on our views on Elon Musk, it's important as an investor and as a businessman to realize that there are people that will not buy products or services from Elon Musk. And that is a problem. That is a problem. I wonder if you could put a dollar amount on how much that impacts sales. Is it in a high single-digit % of sales, a low single-digit % of sales? I don't know. I don't know that. But what I do know is that there are people out there that like the Tesla product, but they're like, I will not give my business to Elon Musk. I get it. I don't agree with that take, right? But that's the reality, right? I didn't even know there was a Tacombe here. Look at that. This is like a really, really interesting Miami view here. You have all those palm trees and then you have Miami Tower in the background. New England Crypto says the percentages have to be small. That's just silly. Well, think about all the boycotts that have happened. I feel as if consumers have been being more fringe lately. And I'm not trying to use fringe in an insulting way, But think about all of the recent boycotts. Let's try to name all the recent boycotts that were in the news. Starbucks boycott, who remembers that? I remember that. Who remembers the Bud Light boycott? Because Bud Light did a partnership with a trans activist, Dylan Mulvaney, I think it was? And there was a large group of customers that boycotted the product just because they didn't like a partnership. So it is, like, regardless of your political standing on these issues, if you think it's silly or not, it's, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, people are so, like, passionate about their ideologies. They're willing to boycott, and maybe it does impact sales in a major way. Now, Elon Musk, a little bit different. He has 200 million followers on X. So I think a lot of his fans outweigh the non-fans. But for a smaller type company, I mean, that could be catastrophic, right? Again, not trying to stir political angst in the chat. I'm just saying we could all agree that some of these boycotts can impact sales. Let's go around here. This is the underline. This place looks good too. I've never been here. It's called Talkin' Tacos. Looks pretty good. World's best though? Is it world's best? I don't know about that. Hey, Thomas Conroy says, hey Tom, what do you do in Miami for fun? The real answer is really everything. Everything here is fun. Just driving around the city is fun. Driving around on my Vespa is fun. Going swimming is fun. Just going to the coffee shops, walking around the boardwalk, working out on the beach. Everything here is fun. It's amazing here. Now again, I'm biased, but I'm just telling the truth of what I think. The first day that I came to Miami, I knew I had to buy something here at one point in my life. But again, you know, Miami is not for everyone. It is very, very hot, and it is very, very humid here in the summers. Some people don't like that. So if you don't like extreme humidity, you probably wouldn't like it here. But I do. I actually prefer climate that is very humid. I know that sounds weird, but generally, if you like the sun, if you like the beach, if you like the summer, I think you'd like Miami. Chris West says, hey Tom, how do you think Florida's East Coast will do? Do you think people should evacuate? Well, in terms of the evacuation conversation, I think that's pretty serious, so I will defer to the state, local government, and municipalities. So if you've been contacted by, you know, the authorities, or if the government told you to evacuate, that's what you should do. I don't really want to give my opinion on that, because that's, you know, kind of playing with people's lives. So I would just say bluntly, if anyone reached out to you and told you to evacuate, you probably should evacuate and not be there. But the reason I'm here is I'm changing out, well, some of my tenants are leaving, right? So I'm in a little bit of a sticky situation because I have tenants that are supposed to move out on the 10th and new tenants that are supposed to move in on the 11th. Now, the problem in there lies that I contacted the current tenants and they said that they're supposed to fly out the day that they check out. But I told them, I'm like, look, there's no way you're going to be able to fly out. I mean, there's probably a 90% likelihood that all flights are going to be canceled in the state of Florida the day the storm moves through. So I said, look, I know you're supposed to be checking out, but as a safety thing, you know, I'm going to blow up some air mattresses in the living room. If your flight's canceled, you could just crash out on the air mattress for a day, because I don't want you to be driving around or sleeping at the airport. So maybe I'll have like 8 people at my house at once. But it's not like I'm going to kick these people out of the house in a Category 5 hurricane, even though Miami, we're not supposed to get, you know, the Category 5 stuff. But you never know. I mean, with hurricanes, it's very unpredictable. So, but if I was contacted and told to evacuate, I would probably just cancel the reservations and say, look, no new people can come to the house, and the people who are currently there, you got to get out like today. So, but again, fingers crossed, it looks like Miami will, generally speaking, be pretty much unscathed. Maybe a little bit of flooding, you know, rain. So 999 says, wow, you are a great landlord. Seriously? I mean, I think that's setting the bar pretty low. I mean, if I was set to move out on the day of a Category 5 hurricane and my landlord was like, hey, you got to be out at 8 a.m., I think that's a little bit too much. I think that's like a little bit sociopath. Even though we're not supposed to get a lot of the hurricane, you never know. This is going to be my first hurricane here in the state of Florida, so I don't even know what to expect. Maybe it'll be a lot worse than they're saying. Maybe it won't be anything. I don't know, but I'm preparing for the worst. All right, guys, we are now transitioning into Mary Brickell Village. This is the tallest building in Miami right now. This is the Panorama Tower. Like, I can understand being strict. As a landlord, you have to, like, not make any leeway. But for tail risk events like this, you know, a Category 5, once-in-a-lifetime storm, which is not an exaggeration. I mean, if all of the experts are correct, they're telling us that this is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime storm. So if the tenants have to stay one day over or, you know, evacuate, and then you got to give them some leeway to get their stuff out, I think that seems reasonable, at least to me. This is Moxie's behind us. This is a very popular nightlife spot in Miami. So, someone's asking, where do senior citizens in Florida party? I don't know. I'm not a senior yet. I know I mention this every single Miami video, but we do have a lot of new people, so I'll mention it again. This plant that you're looking at right now is the best plant pretty much on earth. If you buy a single family home in Miami, just buy a bunch of these plants. They're called Clusia, and plant them around the entire perimeter of your house. They grow 20 feet tall, 30 feet tall, and they act as a wonderful wind mitigation and noise mitigation. If you build, let's say if you buy a house and you build a fence, the fence is going to be tossed around and thrown around, and you're going to have to spend 20 grand on a fence every time a hurricane comes. With the Clusia, they're not affected by the hurricane because the roots are very, very porous, and they go very, very deep underground. And what do you call them? The leaves, they're very flexible and waxy and bendy. so they won't be destroyed. These are in pots, so they're not growing that tall, but if you just leave them, trim them on the edges, these will grow 20, 30 feet tall without exaggeration. And they look better and better every year. That's number one. They look better and better every year, and there's no maintenance. There's zero maintenance. I think the security guard's gonna come around and bust my balls, so I think before he gets to us, I'm just gonna head out, just because I'm a little airplane grumpy and I don't want to talk to anybody. Even though it's a public street, I think he just wants to play rent-a-cop, and I don't want to really talk to anybody tonight. Too tired. Now there's this place over to the left called Sexy Fish. It's like one of the top nightlife spots in Brickell. But I've never been. But what do you guys think of Mary Brickell Village so far? It's quite nice, right? Rock and Roller Man says trimming is maintenance. Yeah, well, trimming takes 2 seconds. If you have a category, 2 or a category 1 hurricane come through and blow your fence into pieces, that's 20 grand. Trimming, is free. It takes a little bit of elbow grease. And, when I say 20 grand for a fence, I'm not exaggerating. Prices have gone up so much. My neighbor told me, she put in a little, fence before she sold her house and she moved. This was pre-COVID, and they quoted her like $9,900 to put in this, like cheap plastic-looking fence around her property. I think Home Depot did it. So I mean, if it was 10 grand back then, it's probably 20 grand now. Such a beautiful vibe here. Rock and Roller Man, of course. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for watching. I like the vibe of this bar. You have this Spanish style architecture a little bit on the top. This is a very good steakhouse from Argentina. I come here from time to time. I'll show you a little bit of a look at the menu. They also have a location in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Hey, Trey Bucks, thank you so much for your $2 donation. This is, have you ever been to Chicago and what did you think? So I've never been to Chicago, but when my brother graduated college, I think his first job out of college was in Chicago working at a big pharmaceutical company. And unfortunately, I was never really able to visit him. But that is on my list of places to go. For sure, I'd love to visit Chicago. Yeah, steak $40, that's not bad. I mean, you go to Del Frisco's in New York City, or you go to like, Capitol Grill right there outside of Rockefeller Center. I mean, it's gonna cost you double that. So $40 is not a lot at all. Also, Spark Steakhouse by Grand Central Station. I mean, that's a big bill. This is Southwest 11th Street. This is where the Metro Mover comes by right here. Hey, NBA Live, this is Tom. Thanks for last week's newsletter. Well written with great information. I wonder when the global liquidity party will end. Well, thanks for saying that. I'm glad you enjoyed it. For the market. Oh, we got the Metro Mover coming by right now. See, here in South Florida, we have the trains elevated. I don't think it'd be... Anyway, but we're seeing this really interesting dichotomy here, and we just got some news from Korea. The central bank in Korea is going to start quantitative easing in a major way too. So not only do we have the People's Bank of China literally throwing everything they got at this market, you have the Federal Reserve, the first largest or the largest central bank. So you have a culmination of these effects at the same time, which I think is really going to be a massive improvement for liquidity globally, which is what you're seeing in bond yields right now. At least that's my interpretation. Because the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 50 basis points, but bond yields are actually going up. The 10-year US Treasury is over 4%. The print on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is now back over 70%. So I think people are predicting maybe around 2 in inflation. We'll see. But if you guys are interested in kind of more of these financial-based conversations about the markets, I do write a free investing letter for everyone in the audience. Our Substack is called Behind the Street, and you could sign up for free, no charge, by just scanning the QR code on your screen and punching in your email. And we send out a new post every other Thursday. If you want to join us over there Behind the Street, feel free to scan the Hey, Jonathan from Florida, thank you so much for your very generous $20 donation. This is welcome back to Miami. Where's the robot? I need pizzas. I'm surprised we haven't seen any of these delivery robots tonight. Usually we see like 3 or 4. But Jonathan, thank you so much for your very kind donation. Appreciate it. This is the Clusia. You see how nice it grows in? But this will actually grow taller. That was almost a big, what's it called? I love Miami, don't get me wrong, but I do have to say one negative thing about Miami right now. And this is coming from a New Yorker. The worst drivers on planet Earth are from Miami right here. I don't know what it is, maybe it's just something's in the water down here, but people are very, very aggressive with the driving. It looks like we're gonna have enough time. I think we will go ahead and walk around to Citadel's new office tower. Maybe let's go this way. Oh, maybe the power's out. Yeah, I think the power's out, or the light is out. Yeah, it looks like they're doing work here. Mikey G says, have you ever driven in New Jersey? That's a good point. I've heard New Jersey drivers are the worst. I mean, what do you guys think? If you had to name your top 2 places in the United States that are the worst drivers, what do you think? What do you say? Maybe I say up in Boston, they're very aggressive there. But Miami definitely has to be in the top 5, for sure. Worst drivers. It's solidified in the top 5, for sure. Everything in Miami says Miami. Some of these people are crazy down here. Eli says the South Bronx. Really? Well, I've never really driven through the South Bronx. Oh, Andy's is totally the worst drivers in America, Tom. I am from New York, too. Well, actually from Massapequa Park. Oh, same here. So Andy, I could actually walk to the Massapequa Park train station. You know what my favorite spot is in Massapequa Park for all those Long Islanders? One of my favorite coffee shops that I've been going to since I was in college. I would get a coffee there and then take the train into the city. It's called Massapequa Perk. So Massapequa and then Perk, P-E-R-K. That's a good spot. I don't really get out there as much anymore since I'm in the city, but that's a really good spot, Massapequa Perk. Yeah, I think this is where we gotta go. I'm seeing a lot of Atlanta. Really, you think there's bad drivers in Atlanta, Georgia? I thought people in Georgia have that southern hospitality. Isn't that the main stereotype? I wonder what the actual data shows. Maybe we could actually prove this with data, looking at, accidents. But Brittany says the hospitality doesn't apply to driving. Oh God. So this is going to be pretty cool to show you. We're coming up on the lot where Citadel is going to build their massive office tower. Now, if you want to see some of the renderings, they've already posted some of the renderings online, and they look amazing. So if you go to Google, just type in Citadel Tower Miami, and Ken Griffin is building a huge, huge tower right here. Invested billions of dollars in Miami, literally billions of dollars. I believe it's right where this big parking lot is. Right here. I mean, can you imagine the values of these condos that are right next to Citadel? Because I mean, all these employees need a place to live, right? So I would bet that the rentals and the sales prices for a lot of these condos and apartments that are going to be right next to the Citadel Tower, it's probably going to get even more expensive down here, unfortunately. Let's make this right, because you're going to see a really, really nice view looking over the water. Hey, Golden City. Thanks so much for joining. We're checking out the new construction site of the new Citadel Tower. Leslie says, did they ever rebuild after that high-rise collapsed? So I think you're referring to the Surfside condo collapse, is that correct? Well, assuming you are, they haven't rebuilt yet, but I believe the land has been sold and something is coming soon. Now, I don't know how I feel about that, because, I don't know, like if I was the developer on that deal, I don't know if I could even do that, because you had, I think, over 100 people die, and then it just seems like you're coming in there immediately just to build another luxury condo on a massive graveyard. I don't know, it just doesn't really sit well with me, but I know that life has to go on, obviously, but look at this big fish right here. Can you guys see him swimming? If you look really closely, it's like maybe that's a tarpon. You could see him swimming around there. But this is a really nice view overlooking Brickell Key. So this is the Mandarin Oriental Hotel right there. And right behind it, that's where the brand new Mandarin Oriental Tower is going to be built. It's beautiful here, isn't it? Imagine the views from these apartments. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying the live stream tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these broadcasts every single day starting at 8:45. Usually walking around New York City or Miami talking about the financial markets, but it's hurricane day, so we're just kind of chilling out. This water is so clean, you could see directly to the ground, even at night, which is wild. I kind of really want to jump in, go swimming. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to go swimming this trip. Speaking of Fisher Island, we were talking about Fisher Island today. If you look very faintly, this strip of lights, that's Fisher Island. So you have South Point Park, that is in the south of 5th neighborhood of South Beach, and then that overlooks Fisher Island. I think this is like a restaurant and bar type here. But I don't know, what do you guys think? What are your first impressions of Miami so far? Downtown Miami and Brickell. Good first impression? What are your thoughts? Could you see yourself living here? This is a unique shot of this boat. Let's see how far we could walk down this thing. Someone says, is Miami the capital of Florida? It is not. Tallahassee is the capital of Florida, which I've never been. Anybody been to Tallahassee, Florida? Jack says Miami is great if you're young, but it gets old quick. I don't know, I mean, maybe, but coming from a New Yorker, I feel as if I get my peace and tranquility here. Like, this is kind of where I come to escape the hectic craziness in New York City and where I like the peace and quiet. Like, where I live, I mean, you can't hear anything at night. It is radio silence. So look at this lonely little boat here. wonder if people are just allowed to like leave little boats and then just jump on it, cruise around. I think it just depends what you do, maybe. Now, obviously, there's a ton of nightlife and partying in Miami, but it could also be very, very peaceful. When I'm in New York, it feels like you're in a grind. It feels like you're in a grinder. Like all the time, you got to be on 24/7, 365. It feels like it never stops. It's the city that never sleeps. But Miami is much, much more laid back. And I think that's healthier for like a balanced. I think there needs to be a balance. Yeah, NBA Elias says Miami needs a signature high-rise building like the Empire State Building or the Transamerica Tower, San Francisco. I definitely agree. It feels just like there's a handful of interesting, notable buildings, but you're never going to have, you know, a notable building like the Empire State Building. Oh, did they close this? Usually they let us walk all the way around. Ah, darn. That's a bummer. They usually let us walk all the way around. That's all right. Someone is asking, does Trump have a Trump Tower anywhere in Florida? Yeah, he has multiple. I believe the majority of the Trump properties in Florida that are residential, that people could stay at like a hotel or buy, are in Sunny Isles Beach. Right as you come over from Bal Harbor, you have the Haulover Inlet, you go through Haulover Beach, and then right next to the brand new Ritz-Carlton are the 3 Trump Tower buildings. And then obviously, you know, further up in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, all that. The LT Prod says, what do I think about being able to bet on the political outcomes? Do I think it's good or bad? Well, there's an old saying on Wall Street that if people want it, Wall Street is going to make a product for it. This is the Panorama Tower. Currently, this is the tallest building in Miami. Let's see if we can jaywalk a little bit.
Stay. Wait. Stay. Wait.
Janet says, Tom, do I miss the pedicabs when I visit Miami? Not at all. See, that's another thing. I like it quiet. If I'm escaping New York, I just kind of want to chill out. I like it quiet. I think I get enough, mental stimulation when I'm in New York City. Hey, Jadelson is here. What's up? Welcome to Miami, Florida. We were walking around downtown Miami and Brickell, and a little bit of, we were looking at Marriott Brickell Village a little bit. Mikey's saying all the garbage bags on the sidewalks in New York. That's another thing. I don't understand how they keep Miami so clean. Like, you never see any garbage anywhere on the sidewalks. I don't understand it. So this is the trolley. And this is the main drag that takes you on Brickell Key. Kevin says, Tom, if you were offered a super, super good job in Miami to live, oh, they're year-round, you're saying, would you take it? It depends on what the job is, I'd say. I don't know, I'd have to think about it. It depends on the job. Maybe if I was like in charge of a major book and just like running money down here, like a large amount, and the requirement was I had to stay here full time. Yeah, I think I would. It depends on what the total compensation package would be, but I think so. I think everyone has a number, right? I think this is the big buffer zone here. Jack says cooking the books. How about that? I think we're just going to follow the crowd on this one. Even though we don't have the walk signal, we'll just... Sam's has moved away from South Florida in 2022. Best decision ever. Where'd you end up going? All right, we're gonna follow the pack here too. Golden City, says Tom, is your house safe from the storm? Yeah, I mean, so for people who are just joining most of Miami is going to be totally fine. It's going to be Tampa, Florida, Sarasota. That's really going to take the most of the hit. You know, Miami seems pretty chill, and you know, I feel as if a lot of people from the West Coast drove to Miami to evacuate. I mean, there's a ton of people here. Another thing I'm seeing is a lot of the Canadian license plates now. That snowbird season is kind of starting. I think this is the earliest I've ever seen a lot of Canadian plates, like the Quebec license plates and the like. I don't know if it's the weather or sometimes you have to reset the network settings. America. I mean, Canada is a great country. I know we have a lot of viewers from Canada. Right, there is no escaping to the warmth. What's great about the United States is you could travel anywhere in the country at any given time of the year. And you could be in really cold climate, you could be in the tropics, you could be in moderate to cool climate. And I think a lot of people don't really take into consideration just how valuable that is, right? You don't need to travel outside of the US to live in your preferred climate, which is amazing. If you live in the Northeast, and you're sick of the cold, you know, you spend $100, you fly to Miami. Right? Or you go to San Diego or whatever. All right, let's cross back over to downtown Miami. This is going to be a pretty cool shot of the Aston Martin residences. Look at that. Is the internet still choppy as we walk over here? Or is it a little bit better? I think it's still choppy. Oh, there's one of those robots. The internet is choppy. I think it has to do something with the storm. I don't know why it's like that. Reset the airplane mode again. We'll see if that helps. Hey, we'll see if that helps. Here's the Capitol Grill. Oh, there's the Metro Mover going by. This is a really pretty view. Someone says Trump can stop these hurricanes with his bare hands. You know all of these weather conspiracies that have been coming out? You know what they've reminded me of a little bit? Who remembers that cartoon on Cartoon Network? I forget the name, but it was the cartoon was about that kid. It was obviously a cartoon character. He was bald and he has like an arrow on his head. And he could like create water beams and like fight people with them. What was that called? Oh, The Last Airbender, I think it was called. That's what it reminds me of. Does anybody know what time it is? Can we get a quick time in the time check in the chat? Because I may want to go to the Whole Foods. NAV 407. This is, yeah, the network buffering may be caused to crowdedness from the hurricane. 10:52. Got it. I think the Whole Foods closes at 11. I'll just go to the CVS. You know what I've been addicted to recently, and then we'll kind of end the stream? The Whole Foods branded coconut water in the can. I think it's the 365 brand. So if you go to Whole Foods, buy their branded coconut water in the can, it's like $2. And it's amazing. It's way better than the other brands. Anybody ever try the Whole Foods 365 brand coconut water in the can? It's cold as hell, and it's much, much cheaper than like the Vita Coco, or whatever it's called. It's really good. But guys, hopefully tomorrow, maybe the next day after the hurricane, we'll get right back on track with our, normal financial chats and discussions. I just kind of wanted to explore things in downtown Miami, see how everyone is preparing for this historic and monumental hurricane that's about to hit the state of Florida. But just keep in mind that we do have CPI numbers, inflation numbers will be dropping on Thursday. And it is the official start of earnings season. So these are going to be some pretty intense and lengthy streams as we do deep dives through all of the and Wells Fargo coming up on Friday. But with that being said, if you enjoyed the stream, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We do these live streams every day starting at 8:45. And if you want to receive all of our free equity research, every other Thursday, we send out our free investment newsletter. It's completely free. Just scan the QR code on your screen, punch in your email, and it'll take you to our Substack, the Behind the Street newsletter. We just sent it out Thursday. So go ahead, check it out over there. And we'll see you soon. So Carla, Austin City Limits, Sabrina Fair, appreciate it. Alan, always appreciate you. Larry Adams, NBA Elias, anyone in the path of this hurricane, we're praying for you. Please listen to all of the state and local authorities about evacuation. Stay safe, that's the most important thing. Material items can be replaced, but you cannot. So don't worry about the material items, worry about your safety. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.